Judging by your profile picture, you're probably somewhere between the ages of 40 and 60, and that's me being generous on all things, which means you were either born between 1980 and 1960. Now, let's go into that. So, 1960, do you mean when we were segregating blacks versus whites, and literally women were still fighting for their right to votes and equality back before there was even the ability for you to get divorced in certain situations? And I mean, all that, the women's suffrage and all that. The 1970s, yes, the peace and love, the one era that they were actually trying to get together. But what was that? That was also belittled by sexism because female leaders of any movements were quite routinely silenced so that they couldn't take part in anything. Well, it didn't sound like a thing. Let's see, was it the 1980s? God damn, that was one of the most violent decades that we've ever had, despite everything else. Despite the fact that it presented itself as a niceness, the 1980s were brutal. So I'm not thinking you don't, I know you don't mean that. How about the 90s? Oh yes, the wonderful 90s, when the era of supermodels really hit its fine end curve and women became the most objectified they'd ever been. I'm not seeing this particular era in which you're talking about, in which there was no such thing as a sexist. Are you referring to the eras when, despite a man being a truly horrific person, your only choice was to sit there and deal with him or silently do something that is technically illegal today and I wouldn't be wanting to talk about in a TikTok for fear of being taken down? Sexism has always existed, darling. And pretending it doesn't and didn't in your time is merely ignoring that. And it probably is your way of coping with the trauma, so I feel so truly sorry for you in that regard. And I do hope that one day you might find the help you need to heal.